Good morning. Welcome to Del Mar. This is our seminar for those of you that are interested in thoroughbred ownership. This is put on by the TOC, which is the Thoroughbred Owners of California. We've assembled a group here today to talk to you specifically about how you can get involved in horse ownership for thoroughbreds. Some of the considerations you're going to want to make as you're thinking about that, and just even perhaps more reminders and examples of how high the highest can be, and what a great thing it can be to be involved in if is something that you are able to do. My name is John Lees, by the way. I'm the Intertrack television host here at Del Mar, which is where you'll see me, and I'll be moderating here. So the three gentlemen that we have to my immediate left is Matt Chu. He's a trainer, a third-generation horseman, and will be speaking to us specifically about partnerships and some of the considerations you can make in researching how to select it and put it together. This here is Gary Fenton, and he's also involved not only in ownership with the partnership as well, but also with his law background and practice. It draws on that quite a bit in terms of the financial and legality sort of things, and he'll be speaking to that as well. And on the far right is Pablo Suarez, and he's been involved in numerous horse partnerships and ownerships as well. A horse by the name of Thor's Echo, that might be somewhat of a household name, won the Breeders' Cup Sprint a few years ago at Churchill Downs, was that right? And Sharp Lisa, another good horse that he's been involved with, he'll be speaking about that as well. In fact, we're going to begin by speaking to Pablo. He's just going to give us a few ideas about partnership opportunities that exist out there. The big theme that we have this morning, it does not take an exorbitant amount of money necessarily to get involved to start with partnerships. There are certain advantages and disadvantages that he'll touch on, and also what types of activities partnerships can get involved in, so the different opportunities that exist there. Pablo, take it away.
Thank you, John. I'd always been a horse racing fan, loved going to the races and stuff like that, and a business acquaintance of mine had suggested, hey, I'm a horse owner, why don't you get on a horse with me? And I was like, things were going okay at business, but I was like, I don't know if that's the smartest thing to do with your money. Ended up going in with him on a horse. It was a $12,500 claimer called Running Thunder. And I remember he had introduced me prior to that. He introduced me to a trainer named Doug O'Neill, who kept calling me on horses. And I kept telling him no. And finally I said, okay, let's try this one. Let's go in on it. And it was three of us, so it was basically like a little more than $4,500 with the tax included. And we put a claim in for this horse before the race. There was 5 people who put in a claim on the same horse. The horse ended up winning. So what they do is they do what's called a shake, and they give you a number and they roll the dice, and whatever number comes up, that's who gets the horse. And we were lucky enough to get the horse. We ran him back like a week later for $20,000. The horse came in second and got claimed from us again. So I'm like, this is easy money, we just made $7,500 on the claim plus 20% of the purse money. This is great. And the trainer's like, they don't work out that way. But to get back to the point of John was talking about, a few of the different ways that you can get involved in the partnership. One I just mentioned, you can get in with a couple of buddies or a few buddies. Some of the advantages of that is that you get more of a true horse ownership experience. You get more of a hands-on relationship with your trainer and making decisions and stuff like that. Some of the disadvantages of that would be more of a financial burden on you, obviously, with paying the bills. So if you're a third partner or half partner, you're going to have a lot more maintenance bills with the vet bills and the trainer's bills, with each horse. Another partnership opportunity would be to join a syndicate. These have become very popular lately because they're just a fantastic way to get into horse ownership, especially for first-time new-coming owners. The advantages that these syndicates offer are you're treated fantastically. You're treated as you should be a horse owner. You get to go to the track, they get you seats, you get to go to the paddock, you get to go to the stables, you get to do anything any horse owner would do, and it's a fraction of the cost. So your investment is minimal, and you get to experience the experience of being a horse owner. And then from there, you can decide, hey, is this for me, is this not for me? And the financial burden isn't as great as it would be if you did it on your own or with a couple of friends. The only disadvantage I would say to that type of syndicated thing is you don't get as much of a say in who trains your horse or the day-to-day operations of what race you're going in and stuff like that. But if you want to be more of a laid-back owner or just a first-time owner getting in, I highly suggest that way getting in. It's a great way to do that. If you go in with some other partners, typically, unless you're all first-time horse owners, there's always going to be one partner who's going to be the mentor, so to speak, or the guy who's more experienced and stuff like that. So you always refer to him as far as, during this learning process of what trainer do we use, how come my horse is working in a minute and two and this other horse is working in 57. So different trainers, work their horses differently, so you have to get used to all that. You learn about, their feed schedule, their workout schedule, learning to read the condition book, and condition book is where the racing secretary sets out a set of races for like a 2-week period, and you kind of pick your spots of where your horse wants to run. Those are some of the things that you'll go through as an owner of kind of like managing the horse's career, so to speak, when you're owning a racehorse. It depends on the partnership that you have, but even if you're a minority partner in a horse, again, you're going to have less say than you would if you were a majority owner in a horse. But obviously to get started at a certain point is always the best way to do it. There's different ways to get into a partnership as well. You can get it, the easiest way, which is the way I got into it in my opinion, is to get into a claiming horse. They run claiming races all the time. You look at the form, the entries come out 3 days before the races are run. So you can look at the form in advance, kind of see if this would be a good claimer if you would want to have. The only disadvantage of that is that you don't get to vet the horse out. So the horse, obviously the state vet comes and looks at all the horses before in the mornings to make sure it's sound enough to run. But there might be a looming problem where the racing career of this horse might be limited. But other than that, to claim a horse that's going to race, these give you the fastest return or fastest action, I guess, on your money, because you get to run that horse right back if you bump it up, if it runs well, and then get hopefully some return on your investment right away, and get some excitement right away. Because if you're going to go in on a horse, you buy a yearling, for example. A yearling is a 1-year-old horse. You're going to have to wait a year or so for that horse to come out and run, and typically, it might be a little bit longer than that if the horse has some problems as a 2-year-old. Then there's a breeding game, which is a great business, but I wouldn't recommend that for a first-time owner. That's when you actually buy the mare, you breed it to a stallion, have the baby, raise the baby, and then race that baby. So now you're talking about 11-month foal process, then the baby becomes a weanling, then a yearling, then a 2-year-old. So you're talking about 3 years just to see that get to the races, which I think for most first-time owners, they want immediate satisfaction and joy of watching their horse run. Mostly for first-time horse owners, I would recommend buying a claiming horse, going in with either a syndicate or some friends, and obviously choose your partners wisely, because you never know, you may get the next lava man and then have all kinds of problems. But anyway, that's basically my take on the partnership.
So Pablo, your horses we see race in the Superman silks with the blue and the big red S, so that they're quite striking. So you were able to get your silks, or how did that go?
Well, the S is for Suarez, and we have 4 young kids, and I've got a 10-year-old over there, and then we've got 3 younger ones. And so I wanted to make it something fun so that the kids, when they came out to the track, would have something to kind of identify themselves with and have fun with. And we had to go through some legal channels to get that done, but we were able to get that done, and it's been a great experience. And I'm happy if you guys all see the Superman silks. You can root for that horse. That'd be great.
Owners love their silks.